It has been a very terrible time in my family. It's been bad for the past 2 years or so. It's just now that the media is getting to know what's happening. But we who are directly affected by what is happening, it's been a terrible, terrible time. Even before our chief was kidnapped and murdered, family members of ours have been kidnapped in their own homes in Kajuru. The Adara Development Association president was kidnapped in his own home in October, November 2017, and they were held for 9 days. His family was held for 9 days. When he went to pay the ransom, he was kidnapped along with the family and released the next day. So it's been a time of trepidation and fear, of us reporting to the police, and nobody has been caught. Through all these things that have been happening, the Bawa Magaji was kidnapped. I know how terrible it was for my family, with my dad being the wazir in Adara. So we're directly affected, and those 2 weeks that the chief was kidnapped was terrible, terrible. And only after the ransom was paid, the chief was still murdered. And the people that were allegedly caught as responsible for that kidnap and subsequent murder, we have an issue with that because there are people that were kidnapped with the chief. His wife was with him. There's a couple that were with him, and nobody has gone to meet them to hear their sides of the story, to be able to decide that the killers are really the killers. We feel that the government is not doing enough to listen to our plea, to protect us, to protect lives and family. But the main reason why we're here today is because through all these killings, when it started, February 10th, the Adara people were attacked, February 10th. 11 people allegedly died. And there was a retaliation and a fight broke out, and we know from sources now that the fight lasted for 2 days or so. And then on Friday the 15th, we heard an announcement by the governor that Fulani were killed. He mentioned the names of the Rugas that were attacked, names of the listed women and children, only Fulani that were attacked. We would have expected him to say something like people were killed or people were attacked. So for him to come out and say Fulani people were attacked, we feel we're being sidelined and oppressed. Until today, we don't know of any Fulani elder in prison, but 9 of our elders have been arrested and are still in prison. It's a month yesterday that my dad has been in prison. As I speak to you, they still haven't been charged in the High Court. They are there saying, the state is saying they're still investigating. But we have some questions. If the Commissioner of Police comes out to say that he is not done with investigations and El-Rufai shouldn't have come on TV to give figures, on what grounds have they been arrested? And since they were arrested, there have been many, many, many killings in Kajuru. So is the governor saying that they are inciting these killings from the prison? We don't understand what's happening. And we still don't know of any Fulani elders that have been arrested. So it's obvious that it's a one-sided arrest happening. I saw a statement from the president. He said there are mutual killings in Kajuru. If there are mutual killings, why are there not mutual arrests? That's why we're here. We want the world to help us ask these questions because we don't understand.
Okay, your father's still in detention. Have there been any reason to still keep him up to now?
That's what we don't know. I'm not going to talk based on law. I'm talking from a layman, from his daughter, from a daughter's perspective. Anybody who knows Bawa Magaji, ask anybody, go to Kaduna, walk on the streets. Anybody that knows my father knows he's a man of peace. He's the wazir in Adara. If there was going to be fights, there would have been fight when the chief was kidnapped. There would have been a fight when the chief was murdered. I mean, he's our chief. He's a first-class chief. But my father has always been the one telling people not to go on the streets and fight, not to retaliate. Anybody can testify to that. So for him to be arrested now for inciting violence is a shock. It hurts more than the fact that he's locked up. The reason why he's locked up really hurts more than him being locked up. When he was invited to the police headquarters, he said he was told that he's being arrested for inciting the killings of the Fulani 66, now 130 or so that El-Rufai mentioned on February 15th. But the thing is, like I said, since he's been locked up with the other elders, the killings haven't stopped. So who are the killers and why haven't they been caught? And why is the government not saying anything about it? Why is the government making it look like only Fulani are being killed? I'm not saying the Fulani are not victims. I think that those who live with us are victims too. Because the kind of ammunition the Fulani people come with, obviously, they are being sponsored by someone. And that's why we're here today.